Well, what do you know? And all this time I thought that funny smell was indication of a dead mouse behind the wall, but that's not really what it was at all. I get... Oh, hello! I didn't hear you creeping up here, probably because you were already here ahead of me. I don't know how you do that every week. But anyway, welcome back to the Mask Fan Attic, where we look for cool and interesting masks, hence the title. You know, kids, one of the most famous and classic monsters of all time, and maybe the most collected monster in terms of memorabilia, toys, masks, costumes, puzzles, figurines, whatever, is the classic 1950s monster, the Creature from the Black Lagoon. And there have been a lot of masks of the creature over the years, and many collectors and mask experts feel you just don't have a complete collection if you don't have at least one Black Lagoon creature in there. Most of those creature masks, many of which are awesome. Yeah, I'm at this age and I still say awesome. That's right. Well, it's a good word. It fits, you know. You really mean awesome, you know. What was I talking about? Oh yes, Creature. Most of those masks were based on the first movie from 1954, Creature from the Black Lagoon. And it's very rare to see one based on the second movie from the following year, 1955, Revenge of the Creature. Now, the creature was redesigned somewhat for that movie, so if you look at photos from the two different films, you could really tell a difference in what the creature looks like. What did the creature look like in Revenge of the Creature? I'm glad you asked. He looked an awful lot like this. Yeah, kids. Yeah, baby. There he is. Now, the first creature had a little bit of a more slender face going on. He had smaller eyes. And overall, I would say the effect was of a monster that was a little more intelligent, a little more, you know, aware and alert, a little more sentient. Whereas this one from the second movie looked a little more like he'd be just more of a brute to me. Other differences include minor things such as the number of little wrinkles and lines and bumps being moved around somewhat, but the major thing is this one has a wider face, and I would say more of a squared off looking head with less of a graceful sort of a slopey look that the sides had in the original creature mask. The 1955 Revenge of the Creature, just a little bit different, and has not been a big popular subject of masks for some reason over the years. I don't know why, because he's very cool. He's a great monster and he's got these cool eyes. This particular one is my favorite of the few versions I've seen. This one was created in 1995 by an artist named Juan Andreu, and Juan did a lot of wonderful things in the mask world, and before that he had made a name for himself with things like statuary and carousel animals, that kind of sculpture. But his version of the Revenge of the Creature, again, is my favorite. It's so astoundingly accurate. You know, you would almost have to get down to examining it on a molecular level and finding that it doesn't have the same exact number of molecules per square inch, per wrinkle, per wart as the one in the movie. It's so close. It just looks exactly to me like what I see when I look at the one from Revenge of the Creature. Now, not many of these were made. I would say fewer than 10. I think maybe between 5 and 10 of these are out there and floating around in the known lagoon of mask collecting. And again, it's from 1995. Now, the reason it's so accurate is an original head from the original 1955 mold was clay pressed, which is a process where you make you basically make a copy of an original sculpture in clay, and then you can change it. That's the short explanation. We'll get into that sometime. Who am I kidding? No, we probably won't. There have been way too many of these Mask Fan Attic segments, I feel like. You know, this has been going on since what, 1962? Is that when we started doing these bits in the attic? Anyway, the Revenge of the Creature by Juan Andreu was started with an original leftover from the movie, and all these well, it had deteriorated somewhat, that original head. So details were fixed and shored up and filled in and corrected thanks to very, very careful examination of stills from the movie, and all the things that had deteriorated over the years were basically fixed, and the end result is that the one from Juan's mold really looks just like the one from the movie. Now, some of these were painted a little different colors. The eyes sometimes are a different color, sometimes they're whiter. It just depends on what you like. Sometimes they're blue. Sometimes this revenge creature has big blue eyes. I went with this kind of gold color. I painted this one. I went with this kind of gold color for no particular reason, just because I just thought it would look cool. I imagined that's how it would look, you know, when I first saw the old black and white movie from 1955, Revenge of the Creature. Man, this is a cool thing. And again, there aren't very many of these, and I believe they sold for around 600 bucks. And that's 1995 bucks. So hard telling what one would go for today. But 1995 was around 600 bucks. And again, the detail is just spectacular on this. And always like this version of the creature. There is a cheaper mask which sells for around $45. That's a little cheaper than 600. Wouldn't you say? Yeah. A cheaper version by Rubies, which they just call it a Creature from the Black Lagoon mask, and it's still, this one I'm talking about is still available as of this taping. It looks like it was based on the Revenge creature rather than the first movie, but it's not 100% accurate. It's just sort of a blend of the different creature masks, sort of combined, sort of mash up together of the different creature designs. But the Juan Andreu one, if you can find one, or if you can track one down somewhere, somehow, I think it's the best. It looks exactly like the one in the movie, and that takes care of your, well, your fascinating visit to the attic for this week. Now, we'll see if I can find my way back downstairs without killing myself. And if I do kill myself, I'll come back again next week anyway.